Hello and welcome back to the Daily Royal, a podcast covering the daily events of all the European royal families. Today we are going to be talking about the small number of events from January 26th of 2021. So here's where we're going. It's almost February. I like kind of the flexibility of like, if things are busy, we'll talk every day. If they aren't, we'll skip and go every other day. However, I feel like, this is early to say this, feel like things might be picking up a little bit. And so this week, we'll see how it goes. If there are too many 15-minute episodes or something like that, we'll go back to like more flexible next week. But this week, I'm going to commit to every single day. So I think it's Tuesday through Saturday. I record Monday through Friday, but I think it's Tuesday through Saturday that they go up. We will have an episode this week. Provided, so I hope you're listening to this on the 27th. However, Anchor, which is the platform I use to host this podcast, is decided to rebrand themselves today, which is great. I like the new branding. It's great. I'm fine with it. However, that's caused like a lot of technical issues. So I know they've been kind of resolving them. I had like a monetization issue. And that's been resolved. So they're definitely moving through them and resolving problems. However, like there have been a number of reports of upload problems. So I hope you're hearing this on the 27th. I'm recording on the 26th, but I'm not sure when you guys are listening. So hopefully it's the 27th for all of you. And yeah. Anyway, sorry, I'm a little tired. I'm recording a little later than I would have liked, but I'm working out a new, like, routine in my life, and I just had, like, to eat, and the dog and I went on a 15-minute walk, and then I wasn't really hungry, and I had to order the dog new food, so I'm just, like, it's 9 o'clock now. Usually I would have liked to have been done recording by now, but that's okay. And I still have the Instagram and the website to finish posting on. So it'll be all right. But please make sure you check out those posts on thedailyroyal.com and The Daily Royal on Instagram. And so with that longer intro than normal, we are going to jump right into the Belgian royal family. There were two events in Belgium today. We are going to start with King Philippe meeting with another government official. So I don't know the makeout of like Belgium's, I call it the cabinet, but it's, the ministers and state secretaries and stuff. But today, King Philippe continued his series of meetings with the government officials, and he met with the State Secretary for Gender Equality, Equal Opportunities, and Diversity, which, like, what a ministry to have, or, like, a task to have. We are sitting here in the U.S. and, like, don't have anything like that. I do think, so I will say there's a potential that some of that has come kind of into existence in the past week. For those who don't know or aren't consistent listeners, I am currently in the middle of a news detox. I let the politics and election and all of the drama surrounding the election really get the better of me, starting pretty much from October, like the middle of October to last week. So I took a week off, or I'm still in the middle of taking a week off from all news consumption, political, non-political, etc. That ends on Thursday. So Thursday I'll be a little more well-versed in what's happening in the world. But right now I feel like I'm flying blind, which is kind of nice. Like, I'm feeling really good, but I don't like feeling uninformed. But anyway, we have no like undersecretary for gender equality and diversity in this country, to my knowledge. I don't know what President Biden has signed in the first week of his presidency, so I could be putting my foot in my mouth, but as of a week ago, we did not. Also, this person happens to be a woman, which I think is, of course, amazing. So that was King Philippe's schedule, and then Queen Mathilde today visited. There's not an English translation for this, so I'm going to call it Le Toboggan. However, it could also have, like, that was more of a Dutch pronunciation. It could have more of a French one. I'm not sure. And so this is an organization that basically serves as like a group home or a group care facility for younger, like teenage girls who would be without parents for whatever reason or the other, but are wards of the state and need a group home setting. But they also have a program focused on assisting teenage moms who are experiencing difficult life circumstances outside of just, what the day-to-day is. So Mathilde was there kind of learning all about that. It looked like she was having a sit down with maybe 3 of the moms. At one point she was in like a kitchen dining area. So lots of different things happening there. But that was the event for the Belgian royal family. Not a whole lot, as is kind of becoming the norm, just because it's January and it's COVID and things are just slow moving. But a good conversation, I'm sure, was had about diversity in Belgium. So with that, we are going to go ahead and move on now to the British royal family. So we are a few days behind in the British royal family in terms of court circular events. So we're going to go ahead and check in on those now. There were no public-facing events today, just a couple of tweets about charities, but no direct interaction with any of the royals. So we are going to pull up the court circular once I find my phone. This is always really nerve-wracking, because for those who don't know, the court circular is held on a news website, the Times of London, and I really have to struggle to just like quickly get to the court circular and not pay any attention to the news. Okay, so we made it. Ooh, they have a new design. That's fancy. Sorry, the things I get excited about these days. Okay, so let's see, starting with the Prince of Wales. He held a meeting with the chairman and chief executive of Nature Scott via video link. Not sure what that's about. So one thing that is kind of unfortunate is the court circular put out to the Times, and even the one that goes on to Royal UK, the Royal Family's website, so royal.uk, doesn't give a lot of information of like why things are happening, which like in a time like this would be really, really helpful, but that's okay. So that was all that was on the calendar for Clarence House, which is the official office and home of the Prince of Wales. And now moving on to Kensington Palace. Let's see, we have the Duchess of Cambridge held a meeting with the CEO of the Royal Photographic Society, of which Kate is patron via video link. And then she also spoke to parents of kids who attended the Row Green Junior School. There's something significant about this. Let me see if I can quickly find what that is. Okay, so this is actually the 2-year anniversary, or almost the 2-year anniversary after Kate visited this school where she launched the Mentally Healthy Schools online program. So she met with the parents of that school. So that's what was going on the court circular yesterday. And now I'm going to take that was all today for January 26th. And now I'm going to take a quick peek at the circular from yesterday, where it seems like there was maybe nothing happening. Yeah, so there is no court circular from yesterday. So it looks like just those updates that I needed to give today are all that we have, and then all the stuff yesterday we saw, which is awesome. I know there is already some stuff released for tomorrow. However, so I'm going to just spoiler alert. The other reason I'm going to go ahead and record every day this week is tomorrow is Holocaust Remembrance Day. And so I suspect a good amount of royals will be doing events in accommodation with that. So the reason I'm bringing those up now is Prince Charles has already had his video message released. However, it was at midnight UK time, so I try to stick with like the schedules that they follow, because it's not meant for consumption until tomorrow. So we'll definitely talk about it tomorrow, but I wanna save that for the actual Holocaust Remembrance Day, and if other royals are participating, I want to talk about that more. So that's what was going on in the UK. It's a little bit of a, I hate to call it a hint about where we're going tomorrow, but it is. That's going to be something we talk about a good bit tomorrow. So with that, we are skipping Denmark because there's still no events there. And we're skipping the Netherlands because there were no events publicized. It's unclear if Queen Maxima was participating in any WEF, World Economic Forum meetings today, but they weren't publicized, at least by the royal household or anywhere that I saw. So with that, we're going to go ahead and skip to Norway now. All right, in Norway, we're going to start with I don't know what happened in chronological order, but we're going to start with like the happier subject, and then we're going to end on the sadder subject. So first, Crown Prince Haakon met with researchers from the Cicero Center for Climate Change, where he received, this is like kind of a quote from the Norwegian royal household like website. However, it was translated, so I hope this is right, where he received an orientation on the Arctic and climate change research that they are doing. So I don't really know if he's scheduled to be participating in Davos World Economic Forum stuff like all week, so I don't know if this was part of that, and they met via video link, or if they met in person. A lot of that information has not been released because today, so okay, I'm gonna try and start prefacing this like bad news or sad stuff as like a trigger warning type of thing. So this is going to talk about racism and Nazis and murder. Not old Nazis, neo-Nazis. So if you're really, really sensitive to that stuff, I would recommend just skipping until you hear the Spanish national anthem. That will help you out a lot. Because, okay, so if that's you, go ahead and leave, and we'll see you in Spain. If that's not you, thank you for sticking around. This is really important. But it can be extremely triggering for a lot of people, including myself. So today, Crown Prince, I'm already starting. I'm sorry, you guys. This is going to be a hard one for even me to get through. So today, Crown Prince Akun sent a video message to a commemoration ceremony on the 20th anniversary of the murder of Benjamin Hermansen. So Benjamin Hermansen was a person who lived in Norway, was born in Ghana. So one of his parents is from Ghana and the other is from Norway. And he was brutally murdered by neo-Nazis in 2001. And it sparked outrage and Crown Prince Akun and Crown Princess Metamart, who may not have even been a crown princess yet. I don't remember the date of their wedding, or like the year they were married in. But they and Princess Martha Louise attended the funeral a few days after. And like the Norwegian people just weren't having it. It was a big moment for white nationalism and the ending of it in Norway. So I'm sorry, you guys, I'm having a really hard time talking about this. I knew I would. Without going into it very much, I have a lot of personal trauma related to situations like this. Just a little bit of PTSD from a situation that I wasn't even that involved in, but like lived the aftermath of for a few weeks. And I just have a really hard time talking about white nationalism and Nazis and like the brutality that they do, because it has like obviously extremely real life consequences. So I'm really trying to get through this. It's something that I believe is extremely important to talk about. However, I'm really bad at talking about it because I can barely make sentences happen right now. So I don't know what the message said. I don't read Norwegian, and I honestly, like, there's a little bit of self-protection. I will have the video posted on, on YouTube, or on the website, thedailyroyal.com. It'll be a link to what I think is a YouTube video or the video posted on Facebook. I don't know which one it is at the moment. And if I can find the translation online, I will go ahead and post that as well. That's the next post that I have to make. I was just kind of protecting myself as much as possible before recording. And look, this is one of those things, like I said, I put the trigger warning at the beginning. This for me is personally like really, really hard to talk about. And there aren't a lot of those, but I I have a really hard time with white nationalists and neo-Nazis. Anyway, okay. So, anyway, this became like a pivotal moment for race relations in Norway, and because Norway has their crap together, they really like improved on it a lot from there. I mean, there are still like fringe right wingers, like there are in Norway, but like this improved race relations quite a bit. And they had a commemoration at 10 years. They're having one at 20 years. I suspect this is something that will kind of stick with the Norwegian people for as long as anyone living remembers. So that's what was going on in Norway today. I'm really sorry that I struggled so much to get through that. Maybe someday I'll be willing to share why. But right now there are just some things, like, even for me, I'm a pretty open book, but that's not. And not that this has anything to do with me, because it doesn't. But just, I'm really sorry that it was really hard to listen to or get through, because it was so hard for me to put words into sentences and get through this section. So, with that, we are going to go ahead now and move on to Spain. Making our way to the Spanish royal family. For those who are coming back in from the Norway, welcome back. Okay, moving in to Spain. There were a lot of events. There were 4 events today. However, not a whole lot to talk about from the events. So, first, King Felipe held 3 audiences at Zarzuela, which is like his office. It's where the official work of the king and the royal household gets done. So he held an audience with the new controllers and auditors of the Social Security Administration. So this is an annual event. This is something that happens every year because new employees and auditors get sworn in to the Social Security Administration, kind of like on an annual basis. So I do remember this happening last year. And then, let's see, next he held an audience with the board of directors for the tourism board. Oh gosh, poor Spain and their tourism industry. It's a rough time over there, with their GDP being so reliant on tourism. However, hopefully they'll find some new ways when COVID is over to potentially expand their GDP. I don't know how you can do that, but potentially. And then finally, he held an audience with a representation of the Spanish Confederation of Training Companies. Don't even know where that is or what that is. Tried to read into it, really couldn't make sense of it. Sometimes that happens. I'm like, I don't understand what is happening here. So that's what was going on for King Felipe. Also, Queen Letizia had an engagement. So she attended the meeting of the Strategic Council for Women and Engineering, which is like a project that the Royal Academy of Engineering has created to have more women in these engineering roles, which is obviously super important. Like, women should absolutely be doing all of these things. And one of the things that I liked, so I remember a while back, I don't remember exactly when last year, but there was an event that Letizia attended, and it was an audience with a representation for a group of women in STEM. And there were 2 women in a group of like 7 or something that were meeting with her. And it was just the most bizarre thing. So today there were a good amount of women on this panel. It was really like, I really think the only men that were there were like the Minister of Science and Industry, maybe, I think is his title, and then like one other gentleman. And so they talked about a couple different topics. So like the strategic objectives, and then as well as the like organizational chart, the organization objectives in general, and any planned activities for the coming year, to promote women in engineering roles. So that was what was going on in Spain. There isn't a whole lot to talk about, because some of those, like, there aren't that many things to research. We will see. It looks like tomorrow there's some interesting stuff happening in Spain with like the government. We'll see what that's all about tomorrow. And for now, though, we are going to go ahead and move on to Sweden. All right, we are finishing this episode in Sweden. So today there was one event. I should also mention yesterday there was one event, but I didn't see it because they had already like moved it to the archive because there were no pictures or anything. So first we'll start with yesterday. So yesterday Prince Daniel participated in a meeting with the Strategic Council for his fellowship, the Prince Daniel Fellowship. But that's all the information there was on that. Like I said, they had already moved it to the archive by the time I was looking at like 2 p.m. or something. So that's what was going on there. But then today, Crown Princess Victoria participated in the final conference for the development of the UNESCO Natural and Cultural Assets, which is just such a mouthful. And they like very cutely abbreviated it, but that does us no good in abbreviations because none of us know what they mean unless I tell you. So, but the UNESCO is like the United Nations Educational Society and Cultural Organization, I think. And so this whole like development of the natural and cultural assets really works to increase sustainable tourism as well as strengthen the local community, business community around some of these UNESCO. So you'll hear the word like UNESCO Heritage Site, or there are other UNESCO projects throughout the world. And so some of them are running better than others, and this really focuses on like increasing some of those sustainability options around heritage sites and other cultural or scientific sites for UNESCO. So that's what was going on. You guys, what a day. I will be back tomorrow where we have what is probably going to be another wide array of different events. And in the meantime, please check out thedailyroyal.com where I'll be posting pictures, videos, and just kind of like general updates on there. We're coming up on the end of the month, so I also post monthly. I will this year be posting monthly engagement counts for each royal family. So be sure to check that out. The Daily Royal on Instagram has all the pictures as well. And then please like, rate, review this podcast, share it with your friends, all the things. And I will talk to you all tomorrow. But until then, have a great rest of your day. Bye.